All right, so it'll be good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all of you. So, welcome, honored guests. I've got three, three stories that I felt had good messages in them. And then if I'm up for it, which I don't see why I wouldn't, I plan to read a bit of a literary classic, The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe, for the ending. First story is I Forgot to Live, as written by Naveen Ahmad. I forgot to live. The refreshing euphoric feeling washed in and out of my mind with calm tidal waves consisting of the beautiful blue and white highlights in a distinctive alignment. I took in the view of the rolling hills, enchancing the distances, and lush greens, manicured grasses aligning with the ponds. The birds flew together in perfect harmony, their black and fading gray colored wings blanketing the bright blue sky. Multicolor winged butterflies danced like fairies, decorating the tall oaks with their beauty and grace. This paradise was all at the other side. Just me and a lit candle in a dark cave, finding my way out of the darkness. I saw a glimmer of light and ran towards it. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel where freedom existed. Possibilities in the pursuit of happiness. I ran towards it, but as soon as I reached the light dimmed and vanished. The darkness caved in on me. I was lost. I opened my eyes, and I was surrounded by only shadows. I waited for feelings, words, letters to fill the blank lines capacitating my mind. Nothing came. I could no longer see the ocean. The lush green grasses were now yellow and brown. The birds and the butterflies vanished into thin air. The lights dimmed, disappearing, and the only thing keeping me company was the night sky with no stars, only clouds. My heart sped faster than my thoughts. My thoughts were diminishing, deteriorating. Every second I felt my spirit loosening, ready to escape my body. I tried to grasp just one memory of my life, who I am, where I'm from, my biggest joy, anything, just anything. My memories were fading. Apologize, the puppy's a little rowdy this morning. My memories were fading. A slow, sluggish realization sparked. I was dying. The air was toxic, and I struggled to grasp a breath. Oh, how I took the ability to breathe for granted. I was like a fish leaving the water, which was my home, pleading to live, pleading to breathe just one more time. The venom turned into memories. Memories I didn't want to remember. There was no sunshine, no emotion, no butterflies, and no rainbows. I was dying to make straight A's at school. I remember dying to ace high school and get into college. I died to stay in college and complete my medical degree. I was still dying because I needed a job to take care of myself. And then societal pressures caused me to continue dying, to get married and have children and raise children. I was still dying. My mind decaying as I wanted my children to repeat the cycle. I went through. Now I am dying. My heartbeat slowing second by second. I was dying. My lungs shrunk. My eyes bled. I screamed, but could not hear an echo. My muscles were weakening, and my livid wrists were becoming ever so pale, ghostly. I was shriveling up like a raisin. I never truly enjoyed life, and now I never will. Our entire childhood is set through a standard course towards being successful. A cognitive map is set into place. School, college, job, family, raising a family, death, and so on. We're pausing for one moment so the puppy can get the barks out. This standard layout of life I apologize to the folks here. There's not normally this much background noise of squeaky toys and very excitable dog at the moment. It's cracking me up. I'm trying not to laugh. My amazing wife is trying to alleviate the excitable animal. She has 6 different toys, and she grabs the one that makes the most noise today. Okay. All right, let me continue where we left off. I'll edit that bit out for the video. Our entire childhood is set through a standard course, towards being successful. A cognitive map is set into place. School, college, job, family, raising a family, death, and so on. The standard layout of life is bestowed onto the shoulders of many as societal norm. While efficiently planning to grasp a future full of promise and possibility, the societal norm is engraving in us, causing humans to lose the meaning of life and its purpose. Societal expectations is a prison cell. Outside that prison cell, the world is moving so fast your eyes can't even focus on one aspect. Not even one thought. Nothing. We create that prison cell by letting ourselves be trapped by societal expectations rather than letting our thoughts be permissive, exploring this world and distinguishing its purpose ourselves. Creating our own meaning in life rather than others doing it for us. But we don't, because we are afraid. We don't trust ourselves. We didn't perceive life as a gift, making full use of it. We used it as a meaningless contraption, being forced to spend time with until death. And it's until death that we realize we forgot to live. Life, then, is a blank canvas with no color. And with no color, there is no purpose, no joy, no meaning. Our wings are spread out yet. We don't know how to fly. Choices. This universe is densely packed with choices. We choose our path in life. Our feelings about that certain path with distinguish the difference of how we perceive life, as a trap or as a gift. The pure definition of life is vitality, vigor, or energy. Our thoughts mutate into worries, and our worries are what strips the life out of us. It is what captures that energy we have a right to enjoy. We are prisoners of our minds, our ways of thinking, and the stress we absorb from external forces. As I lay helplessly, taking my last breaths, I pondered what paths I could have taken towards enlightenment. I pondered on the risks I could have taken to reach an unknown but exciting destination. I pondered on how black and white and boring I made life because I was a follower rather than a leader. I was a follower that lived a life on a blank canvas with no color, no depth, no fancy brush strokes, nothing. Making a spontaneous recovery, all the memories that made me smile came back. A myriad of refreshing memories showered and united together, forming a shield against all the evils and sadness that capacitated throughout my life. All the memories so colorful and beautiful, forming a kaleidoscope I wish I could own a painting of. I remember the family I came to cherish, the hand I held for warmth, the sunsets that made my days end peacefully. Each and every bit a piece of pure euphoria made its way home in my heart. I felt that joy made me human and grasped onto it, never letting it go because it was mine. Life is a gift I wish were tangible so I could hold on to it and never let go of. So many gifts. And at that moment I realized the blessing that enriched my existence. When I was granted the gift to walk, the gift to open my mouth and hearing a voice come out, the gift of the ability to give a hug, the gift to whisper a smile, the gift to receive an education, the gift of survival, the gift of receiving the opportunity to exist, being invited to live life. That realization hit me like tidal waves, and I felt refreshed as I lay there. And for the first time, all those worries, the stress that was bestowed onto my shoulders, they gathered up, forming a shape of a wing, and flew away, never to be seen again. I smiled, not out of force, not out for making a good impression, but I genuinely smiled of the being gifted with life. I'm on a boat. I'm in the middle of a body of water. I am not lost. I'm free. Each day I row forth to an island full of possibilities and all my dreams and hopes. Each day the current holds me back. For days, for years, I tried each day rowing. And while the currents continued to hold me back, I did make progress. With that progress, I'm self-empowered. I'm still motivated, causing my voice to become valorous. My losses brought me down, but at the same time, the broken parts of me have been put back together. Some pieces are missing and may never be found, but it's my losses that made me real. My time is now over. I was still smiling out of pure euphoria as I took in the view one last time of the beautiful pink, purple, turquoise-colored sunset. And I closed my eyes, letting go of one last breath. I'm now at an island with the beautiful views of tidal waves, the green luxurious hills, the birds flying in perfect alignment, and the butterflies dancing with the stars. I see the light. I ran towards it. The light caught me, hugging me, and I vanished into thin air. Freedom at last. That is, I Forgot to Live is written by Naveen Ahmad, with extra punctuation added by Lula, the excitable dog. We'll take a moment. I'm going to grab a quick drink of coffee, and I will continue on to the next, but I'm going to give everyone a moment to let that one be absorbed. No, there's my boundary. I've got a boundary set up so I can see where the corner is. I just have to get the boundary to kick in. That is a perfectly normal reaction to that, as my daughter can attest to. Merely lost bug. All right. Just barely. All right. The next story is simply called Hope. It is written by a Coco Arak, which I believe is a pseudonym. A bell rung. Warmth and happiness hit my icy face, my body still shivering from the cold. Outside wind. My soul still shivering after I entered. Letting the door swing shut behind me, it felt like I was safe, warm and at home, even with the little voice nagging in the back of my head. And why did I leave? Why did I forget the safeness in the moment I needed most? Why didn't it save me? I felt like everyone was looking at me, judging me, and for once I did not care. Not here. My eyes saw color, the warm tones dancing through the room, telling us their story, showing us their past. Why did I enter again? I told myself I didn't deserve love or warmth every night, but I was drawn here, and I didn't want to leave. There was a sign describing their new autumnal line of drinks, calling even more lost souls in. I see it in their eyes. Maybe they'll still make it. That day, I sat down, taking everything in. It felt like a dream, happy and free. I could have taken out my books. I would have had an exam the next day, but I just sat there and let myself feel. Creamy hot vanilla. I wonder how that would taste, spiced with cinnamon. I imagine a sip of it would feel like drinking autumn. I wish I could still taste, smell. All I have left to do is see and to remember. I sit down in front of a young student, by the looks of it. Their books decorating the maple-colored table, untouched. They were staring into the air right through me. Their eyes showing the emotions I had felt that day. I wish I could be seen, could communicate. I would tell them everything, help them. Maybe someone had been with me that day, wishing they could help. If they said anything, warned me, I didn't listen, and I still did it. And now I'm here. The last warm and appetizing taste I remember was the caramel coffee sitting in front of me. Staring at it, I tried to decide if I was allowed to, if I deserved to drink it. It was warm. For a second, my soul stopped shivering, embracing the happiness. I remember thinking the drink tasted angelic. It was the nectar of the gods. I didn't finish the cup. Now I watch people leave and come, crying and laughing. I watch families, friends, couples, loners. All of them look lonely, like they're actually lonely, even if they're surrounded by others. A room full of people enjoying their limited drinks, feeling alone. You only see the loneliness when it's the only thing left that you feel, combined with nostalgia and regrets when you're dead. I ran out, leaving my coffee, my books, my phone, my keys, my money, my life. I left it all that night, never to see it again. The welcoming bell still ringing in my ears, nearly drowning out the voice that told me to do it. Nearly, but not quite. I remember the coffee shop in the last second. Maybe that's why I'm here, to stop any others. To be in the place that could have helped keep me happy, until I decided to run out. I wish I hadn't run. I could have ordered all the autumnal drinks, trying to make friends, try to make the other lonely people laugh. Instead, I left, not understanding the graveness and the emptiness that would follow. I could still try to talk, hope for the best. I will never lose hope again. So I look into the lonely student's eyes. They were still sitting, lost and hopeless. I talk. It's worth it. Stay. Stay so you can try each season's specials. Stay so you can learn to love yourself again. Because you can. You always can. You're stronger than that voice, stronger than the doubts. The beauty of life is still stronger than the negative cloud in your head. Imagine all the smiles you will still smile and see. Imagine every time you walk into this coffee shop, feeling its warmth, feeling at home, wondering if there's anything new you can try. Embrace the feeling of happiness when you have it. Stay to feel it again and again until you feel better than ever before. It is never going to be perfect. You're never going to feel absolutely happy. But you can reach the limits, step over them, find the perfect amount of happiness for yourself and share it with others. I still love it here. I feel lonely. I feel like I missed out on so much, but I feel at home. I like to think the workers listen to my ideas for special drinks. Come back in the spring, and we'll see my influence. Stay a while longer. Visit me again. I'll be waiting forever. To love, to listen to your voice. The humming you think nobody hears. You will always live. It's worth it. I won't let you throw this warmth away. This warmth you are allowed to have. And the voice in your head shouldn't make you feel bad about. You deserve this, and so much more. This is your home, surrounded by warm colors. A warm drink warming you up, completely filling your mind with ideas, wishes, hopes, and dreams. When you look into the mirror, I want you to see how beautiful and precious you are. See that you are worth it, and not a negative mess. Something you see as undeserving, something you think you should die. I'd be happy to give you my eyes, let you see yourself how I see you. But you will get there yourself. You are strong, even if others or you yourself tell you different. One autumn, this coffee shop will be full of beautiful, hopeful people. Lonely, but together. Feeling the warmth and remembering the first day they entered. Hearing the sweet bell jingle and being intrigued by the autumnal drinks. The warm colors, the homely atmosphere. The day they felt again. Hope. That's the newest drink here. I think you'll enjoy it. That is Hope, is written by Coco Arak. We'll pause for a moment while I drink more coffee. I got to. Did we lose anyone else? Give me one moment. I accidentally closed the tab with the next story. There we go. Okay. Next story is Only Me. It's written by a Tammy Rezka. I'm saying the last name wrong on that one. I got lost. So freaking lost. I just can't find my way back. Maybe if I found a new way. Is that even possible? Am I capable to create a new, non-existent path that saves me? Because I think that's what I need to do. Be saved. But can I do it myself? Am I good enough? I really hope so. I need to. I lost myself, my essence, my touch, my desire to do things, my passion for things I loved, my genuine laughs, and the way I was supposed to continue. I don't know what to do or how to go back to whom I was. I want that so badly. I miss myself so much. Not in a narcissistic way, It's just that I miss feeling happiness for those little things. Being able to feel loved and love others. Feeling excitement or passion for something I like. I miss feeling something, anything, even bad things. Sadness, fear, ever rage. It was a part of me too, but now it's not. Nothing is. I'm completely empty. I miss liking this guy and getting nervous around him, overthinking what might happen or what to do, how to talk to him. I miss that feeling, that thing in my stomach. Where were the butterflies, dragons? I don't know. I can't even remember what they felt like. I miss how when he looked at me, the world stopped and everything was fine. Just because he was looking at me. Or how special he made me feel every single time we talked. But not anymore. I don't have the energy to feel anything, even for you. I really miss that. I miss being able to feel touch, to be a little vulnerable when someone hugs me or lent me something and our hands touch. I got nervous, but that doesn't happen anymore. Not at all. I miss it. I miss myself, feeling things, everything. I don't like this place. I hate it. Being like this, please, somebody help me. I feel like I'm in a desert, full of only sand and sun. I feel trapped with no possible escape. I don't know why I'm here, what happened to me, and I don't know how to fix it, how to fix me. Maybe I found the reason I'm here, or how I got here. I can't find a solution. Not to be dramatic, but what if I can't get out? What if I'm stuck here alone forever? What if I can never get back to where I was, to who I was, and all I would have is nothing, not even myself? A person without itself is nothing. Right now, I am nothing. I loved the way I was, of course. I had flaws, but who doesn't have them? But even with them, I loved myself, my personality, and my way with things. I enjoyed being myself despite the flaws, the problems my life had. But now I feel I don't ever have a life. What does a person without a self and life be? Because I don't feel I'm living my life anymore. I'm in a desert full of emptiness on autopilot. And I've lost all interest in living life. I don't know why or how. I am still incredibly confused about everything. How does a person without water and food survive in a desert alone? I can't ever entertain myself anymore. I'm useless, pointless. I lost purpose. All the dreams I had are no longer there, and I can't find a reason to pursue them. I need answers. I need solutions. And I can't ask for help because I am alone in this awful desert. I can't ask for help because people won't understand. They won't be able to help me. I can't ask for help because this is my problem, and only I can fix it. I just don't know how. I think of a reason. Maybe I can think of a solution. Is it me? Was it my fault? Did someone do something to me and you just don't remember? What happened? Is it because I'm sad? No. Why would I be sad? Nothing makes sense. I hate this so much that I need to fix it. I feel awful, trapped inside of here. I don't have answers for any of my questions. Will I ever have them? Will I ever get out of here? If so, would I get to where I came from or somewhere new? Am I going to be the same person again? No, because people change and people grow. People learn. We are different every day. But what of my existence? Will I ever get that back? I spot something in the distance. It's far away, and I don't know if it's real or I'm hallucinating. But it's blue. Maybe it's the man or lagoon. All my thoughts shut down and I ran. I'm not in any real hurry, but I need to get out of here so badly. So I ran and ran until I saw only black. I wake up so close to the ocean. I have no idea how I got this close, but it doesn't matter. I need to refresh myself. So I get up and step out into the sea. As soon as my feet hit the water, everything clears. The desert isn't there anymore. And all of a sudden I'm on a beautiful island, an oasis in a paradise. At the same time, everything is so clear, and all my thoughts line up. I was the only one holding myself back, still with many questions with no answer. I did find one of them. I am the only one in the whole world with the power to put myself in a desert to trap me there. But that means I am also the only one that can fix it. The only one that can get myself to an oasis is me. I just need to allow myself to be free and live for only me. That is, Only Me is written by Tammy Rzipka. I apologize, I cannot pronounce the last name well. So I hope you're all enjoying the few short stories I found before we get on to the fun, spooky one. Now comes the important question, who else did we lose? I think Pug is absolutely gone now. Oh, Pug's still functioning. We'll lose Rika. Well, I don't know if this story will really help people fall asleep or not. Good. All right. So now for this special edition of Storytime, I have a literary classic. It's a bit of a spooky story. It does have a little bit of graphic violence in it. If anyone wants to bow out, you're more than welcome. They will not be insulted in any way. But this is The Telltale Heart, as written by Edgar Allan Poe. I just need to get my microphone in the best spot. True, nervous, very, very dreadfully nervous. I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in heaven and in earth. I heard many things in hell. How, then, am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthy, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object there was none. Passion there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. One of his eyes resembled that of a vulture, a pale blue with a film over it. Wherever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now, this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night, about midnight, I turned the latch of his door, opening it, oh so gently. And then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, and all closed so that no light shone out. And then I thrust in my head. Oh, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust it in. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to place my whole head within the opening so far that I could see him as he lay on his bed. Ha! Would a madman have been so wise as this? And then, when my head was well in the room, I undid the lantern. Cautiously, oh so cautiously, for the hinges creaked. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye. And this I did for 7 long nights, every night, just at midnight. But I found the eye was always closed, and so it was impossible to do the work. For it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. And every morning when the day broke, I went boldly into the chamber, and spoke courageously to him, calling him by name in a hearty tone, and inquiring how he had passed in the night. So you see, he would have been wary, a profound old man, indeed, to subject that every night, just as 12, I looked upon him while he slept. Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. Never before that night had I felt the extent of my powers, my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. To think that there I was, opening the door little by little, and he not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I fairly chuckled at the idea, and perhaps he heard me, for he moved on the bed suddenly, as if startled. Now you may think that I drew back, but no. His room was as black as pitch with the thick darkness, for the shutters were fastened through fear of robbers. So I know that he could not see the opening of the door, and I kept pushing it on, steadily, steadily. I had my head in, and was about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped upon the tin fastening. The old man sprang up in the bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed listening, just as I have done night after night, hearkening to the death watches in the wall. Presently I heard a slight groan, and I knew it was the groan of mortal terror. It was not a groan of pain or of grief. Oh, no. It was the low, stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew the sound well. Many a night, just at midnight, when all the world slept, it has welled up from my own bosom, deepening with its dreadful echo. The terrors that distracted me. I say I knew it well. I knew what the old man had felt and pitied him, although I chuckled at heart. I knew that he had been lying awake ever since the first slight noise, when he had turned in the bed. His fears had been ever since growing upon him. He had been trying to fancy them causeless, but could not. He had been saying to himself, "It's nothing but the wind. It's only a mouse crossing the floor. Or it's merely a cricket which has made a single chirp." Yes, he had been trying to comfort himself with all these suspicions, but he had found all in vain. All in vain, because death, in approaching him, had stalked with his black shadow before him, and enveloped the victim. And it was the mournful influence of the unperceived shadow that caused him to feel. He neither saw nor heard, but to feel the presence of my head within the room. Slight puppy interruption. When I had waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very, very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily, until, at a length of a single dim ray, like the thread of a spider, shot out from the crevice and fell upon the vulture eye. It was open, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it with perfect distinctness, all a dull blue, with a hideous veil over it, that chilled the very marrow of my bones. But I could see nothing else in the old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray, as if by instance, precisely upon the damned spot. And now I have not told you that what you mistake for madness, but is over-acuteness of the senses. Now, I say, there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury, as the beating of a drum stimulates the soldier into courage. But even yet I refrained and kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless. I tried how steadily I could maintain the ray upon the eye. Meantime the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker, louder and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder, I say, louder every moment. Do you mark me well? Have I told you that I am nervous? So I am. And now at the dead hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of that old house, so strange a noise as this excited me to an uncontrollable terror. Yet, for some minutes longer I refrained and stood still. But the beating grew louder and louder. I thought the heart must burst. And now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell I threw open the lantern and leaped into the room. He shrieked once, only once. In an instant I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him and smiled gaily to find the deed so far done. But for many minutes the heart beat with a muffled sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the wall. At length it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was a stone. Stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no more. If you still think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night waned, and I worked hastily, but in silence. First of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head and the arms and the legs. Then I took up 3 planks from the flooring of the chamber and deposited all between the scantlings. Then I replaced the boards so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatever. I had been too wary for that. A tub had caught all. When I had made end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. As the bells sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. I went down to open it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? There entered 3 men who introduced themselves, with perfect civility, as officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor during the night. A suspicion of foul play had been aroused. The information had been lodged at the police office, and they, the officers, had been deputed to search the premises. I smiled, for what had I to fear? I bade the gentleman welcome. The shriek, I said, was my own in a dream. The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house. I bade them search well. I led them at length to his chamber. I showed them his treasures, secure, undisturbed. In the enthusiasm of my confidence, I brought chairs into the room and desired them here to rest from their fatigues, while I myself The wild audacity of my perfect triumph placed my own seat upon the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. The officers were satisfied. My manner had convinced them. I was singularly at ease. They sat while I answered cheerily. They chatted of familiar things. But ere long I felt myself getting pale and wished them gone. My head ached, and I fancied a ringing in my ears, but still they sat and still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. It continued and became more distinct. I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued and gained definitiveness until at length I found the noise was not within my ears. No doubt I now grew very pale, but I talked more fluently and with a heightened voice, yet the sound increased. And what could I do? It was a low, dull, quick sound. Such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I gasped for breath, yet the officers heard it not. I talked more quickly, more vehemently, but the noise steadily increased. I arose and argued about trifles in a high key with more violent gesticulations, but the noise steadily increased. Why would they not be gone? I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides, as if excited to fury by the observations of the men, but the noise steadily increased. O God, what could I do? I foamed, I raved, I swore. I swung the chair upon which I had been sitting and grated it upon the boards, but the noise arose over and continually increased. It grew louder, 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 and still the men chatted pleasantly and smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God, no, no, they heard, they suspected, they knew. They were making a mockery of my horror. This I thought and think. But anything was better than this agony. Anything was more tolerable than this derision. I could bear those hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt I must scream or die. And now, again, hark! Louder, 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 louder. Villains, I shrieked. Dissemble me no more. I admit the deed. Tear up the planks. Here, here. It is the beating of this hideous heart. That is The Telltale Heart, as written by Edgar Allan Poe. Seem to have lost more people. My camera seems to show a array of bodies laying in front of me.